show up powerfully. This hybrid online community offers monthly webinars, meetups, and coaching sessions so that you have access to Replenish online. Whether you are seeking something as an individual to relieve your stress, or as an organization, a way to resolve team issues and recharge your staff, Replenish Me membership offers it all. Empower yourself today. To find out more about Replenish Me membership, go to bit.ly/Replenish Me membership. And now for the Free to Be show. Hello and happy Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you today on the live Free to Be show so that I can introduce my guest for Wednesday night's pre-recorded show. I can say like a million trillion things about her, but I'm just going to tell you the stuff that I think is cool. Zarinah El-Amin she's an author, she's an anthropologist, she is a mom and a woman extraordinaire. And I love her to death. So, no, I love her to life. Right. I shouldn't say that. Oh my goodness. So it's my pleasure to introduce you today to Zarinah El-Amin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And I guess, Salaam alaikum, I should do the proper greeting.
Wa alaikum assalam. It's always great to wish peace upon somebody. So I accept it. I accept.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like before we went live, we were like, so what are we going to talk about? And I think it's kind of cool since we're both authors and that is your realm. You have a publishing company, Book Power Publishing. And so my book, Detached Love, just came out and you have a book coming out. Hey. And so it's like what's the proper way to do a book launch? And so let's kind of dive into that.
Yeah. So first of all, we have to recognize there's no one proper way, right? Like there are a myriad of ways that you can properly or successfully, I should say, launch a book, right? So you have to find one that is going to fit towards your goals, like what do you want to achieve? But in general, our book launches follow like three major steps. There's three major steps to the way that we're going to roll out a book. The first is we're going to activate our own network. So what I mean by activate your own network is that you have friends, you have family, you have people that you are in memberships with or masterminds with or other programs that you are in. So you, first of all, activate your own network. And that means inviting them to, first of all, purchase the book, but then purchase the book and then leave a review, right? Like leave a review as well. So you activate your own network first. Then you activate your network's network. So activating your network's networks means, like one of my clients just published his book. It's called Muslim Friday Prayer. It's a compilation of 100 sermons that he gave. And his friend works in a prison. And so his friend is now getting the book into multiple prisons around the country. Right. Okay. So this is what I mean by activating your network. Right. Okay. So yeah, your network's network. So the network, his friend is now activating his network and taking the book out into different prisons. And my author himself would not have been able to reach that audience on his own. Right. Now, the third level is to activate influencers. These are people that you may not know, either organizations or people who have a large concentrated group of your target audience, connecting with them, getting in front of them via podcasts or joint ventures or other ways that you're going to connect with influencers. So those three steps, your network, your network's network, and then influencers and organizations.
I love that. So let's see who's here and see if we've got some authors joining us. Hey, Julia, how are you? Julia's in London. I don't know if she's an author. And then we've got Wanda. Hey, Wanda.
Hi, Wanda.
She's in my Facebook group. So she is one of my community. And so that is really great. So I like the way I mean, that sounds so easy and so simple and so like stress-free. So what do you typically see with your authors that come to you? I mean, do they have the freak out, or do they just, they're just like, oh, activate my own network? That's easy. Or like, how does it go?
They have a freak out, most of them.
Let's be honest, right?
They do. I think it's because, writing a book is such a personal thing. And it's like when you are in the process of doing something that's taking you a little bit of time, whether you wrote your book in 2 weeks or it took you 2 years to write your book, it's like a process that you go through. And at the end, you're not sure, are people going to love it? Are they not going to like it? What are they going to say? And so all of those feelings oftentimes come up for people. And I'll tell you, even for myself, the most times that I've failed, like the times when I haven't really reached my full goals with one of my programs or projects, is because I failed to fully activate my network. Not even, other influencers and such. It's like I failed to fully activate my own network, and usually because of fear, usually because of self-worth issues, those types of things. So people tend to freak out, but what we have to do is just break it down little by little, and then celebrate the small wins as they come, so they can build up their inner sense of author armor, like build up their author armor and be able to go out and continue. Because people truly, they want to know what you have. They want to see how what you're doing can benefit them and their people. So it's really incumbent upon us to do that activation. And we're not doing anybody else, a service. We're doing them a disservice if we don't.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that don't get trapped in the fear. That's not even real. That keeps you from the whole purpose that you wrote the book.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
It's self-sabotaging.
Yeah. Hey, Harriet, how are you? Thank you. She's another one in London. No. And Julia, now we find out, no, not an author yet. So you need to be here and listen, because we're going to help you with that. So,
yeah.
So, okay. So that's very interesting. So let's talk about the fear and the self-worthiness issues for a minute. I know, we're not going to be here forever, but it's just like, how do you, like after you go through this great deep dive into writing the book, and then you're just like, is this going to be well received? And, like, how do you get out of that paralysis? What is it called? Paralysis analysis, or analysis paralysis? Yeah.
Paralysis. You're thinking and thinking and swirling and never getting out of it. Yeah. You got to recenter yourself and just ask, like, what did I invest my whole time and effort into? Like, did I invest this just to have a book and put it on the shelf, or did I want other people to be able to benefit from what I put together? And if you want other people to be able to benefit, you have to step outside of yourself, And so a lot of times I'll tell my authors to do what many entertainers do. They have an alter ego, right? You have
That's fun.
Or if you don't like entertainers, you can think of like Superman and Clark Kent. First year Clark Kent out there with the glasses, just walking, and then something happens and like you're Superman now. So you gotta fake it till you make it. If you really feel like, oh my God, I just can't do it, sometimes you have to say, well, what would my alter ego do? Make them an alter ego for yourself. Give them a name, give them some out, like the way that they look, and step into that mindset, because it's all mental. It is purely mental, right? So if I'm punking out, and if I'm like, oh, well, Zarinah is a little bit scared to reach out to Oprah because she's so big and she has so much this and this and this and this, I gotta just check it out and be like, okay, well, what would Sasha Fierce do today? Like, what would Beyonce Sasha Fierce do? What would Superman, what would Wonder Woman, and then put on my armor and get out there and go. Because most of the stuff that we're afraid of, rejection, all that kind of stuff, it comes, that not everybody's gonna like what we do, but it doesn't make a big deal in the long run. So just get over it and go.
I love that. I love that. And it's so true. It's just like, well, actually one of my coaches was telling me when you get rejection or when you get haters, that means that you've made it. So you should actually celebrate that. So it's like, oh, good. People are going to buy my book now because there's drama around it.
Yeah, it means that you hit an emotional chord with
Yeah.
someone, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we all want to do. We want to be able to impact people, whether we're doing it and they don't like it, but it's still making them think. Either way it goes, you're still helping them to think critically. Or if they like it, then great. Either way, I win.
Yeah. And you win because you are sharing your story, right? And you're doing the thing that you were hoping to do. And really you win because it's never about you in the first place. You don't write a book for you to read, you write the book for people to read. So you win because
Well, I will
no?
say
Okay.
there's two sides to writing the book. Like I have some clients that write the book purely as a healing and therapeutic exercise for themselves, right?
Okay.
They don't even care how many other people read it. They did it for them. So there can be multiple goals, right, that come into why someone wants to write a book. And this is why when we start with our people, we always start with like, what do you want? What are the goals that we want to achieve with this book? Because a book that I'm writing specifically to pass down my specifically to share it with other people or help other people or impact their life is going to be possibly a little bit different than the book that I solely write just for myself, So you got to take into account what your goals are. But there are many people that it's just all about me. It's a therapeutic exercise.
Okay. So this is the last thing I'm going to say about books, and then I want to talk about your anthropologist side.
Okay.
So like for me, my book was both a healing, this book, this Detached Love that's coming out, is both a healing, but it's also, for me, more a service to other women because it's a process of understanding how to really transform your heart. Because what I found in my journey is that I had a barrier to receiving. Right. And also the women that I work with, this comes up like almost every conversation. It's like, oh, well, it's like, it's so much deeper than, oh, I love your head wrap today.
Yeah.
And they can't say thank you.
Yeah.
It's like so much deeper. It's just like, oh no, I can pick up that grocery bag. I'm going to carry all three, right? And close the door to the car. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Which we don't think of as a big deal, but and then to transform your mind, because then the other side of that is like you, if your heart won't allow things to come in, then your mind ruminates on all the things of why can't I get what I want? Right now you're resentful. So it's both in my case. So but I go ahead, tell me.
I was just going to say I've dealt with that, and still this is one of, I believe, my life lessons is on acceptance, totally an aside, but I was talking to my aunt yesterday because I'm on a really big kick right now for capturing as much knowledge and wisdom and experiences of our elders that we can while they're still with us. So I've been doing these interviews with my father. He wants to do a book on Black Muslim elders, so we're compiling that. But I was talking to my aunt yesterday about her life, right? And so she reminded me of something in my life that goes exactly to what you're saying. She was saying when I was 13 years old, she and my other aunt took me, it was supposed to be a shopping spree. I was supposed to they took me to Saks, which is like, high-end street, department store or whatever. And they said, okay, you can have whatever you want, Zarinah. And I walked around and couldn't find squat. Like I didn't want anything, right? I was like, oh no, I don't see anything. Da, da, da. And so this went like on. They took me to 3 different luxury stores. And so then finally they said, well, where would you want to go? And I said, Target, right? So they took me to Target, and she said, they sat down, where the little coffee area is. And I was supposed to just go and get what I wanted. And I came back with one thing. right? How often do people say, like, this is the
Wow.
world, and you come back with just one little thing because you think that's all that you really deserve, you know? So they
Mm.
told me, go back. And so I went back and got one other little thing. But when I thought about that, when she was telling me that about myself, I was like, wow, like it's actually still hard for me sometimes to accept gifts, right? From when somebody is giving me, you know, something, I feel like immediately I have to give them something right back. Like,
Wow.
I got to give something right back. And so this whole notion of not being able to fully accept the abundance, right? You're
Yeah.
literally blocking it. You're literally subconsciously blocking it. So I think this is a running theme, as you mentioned, for many women, but I recognize it. And I'm grateful that I recognize it now in my life so that I can correct it, right? And
Yeah.
continue to be more open to God's abundance because it's there for all of us.
It really is. That's such a powerful story.
Mhm.
And I like that you are capturing the stories. I was looking at your timeline the other day. I was like, oh, this is good, you know? And so, like, when people think of anthropology, actually, we think of we're going to go like to Egypt and, you
Right.
know, but that's anthropology, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, anthropology is the study of humankind, right? And cultural anthropology is looking at how people live their lives, how people do this thing called being human. And so that can be domestic or it can be international. I do lots of things internationally, but all of us need to become an anthropologist in our life. First, for our own culture, right? You don't really fully understand yourself until you start to dissect, why do I believe such and such? Why do I do this way?
Yeah,
Like, did I just adopt that as normal just because it was a part of my environment? Like, is there a moment I made a conscious decision to think this way? You know, like you got to slow yourself down and start to assess what's going on in my life. And you can do that vis-a-vis other people, right? You can look at other people and then that starts to bring back. So the reason I love anthropology is because it's kind of, you learn about the world, but you learn about yourself. At the same-
I totally see that. And like, you know what came on for me, my light bulb moment, just listening to you, is you know how we're like walking around on autopilot?
yeah.
If we choose to be anthropologists with our own culture, that will stop the autopilot.
Yes, 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 because it makes you slow down and it makes you critically think, right?
Yeah,
You have to literally think, why am I doing this? What do I believe? Where did that belief come from?
come from.
You know,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
slow yourself down. And so many of us, unfortunately, have cultural beliefs that we have adopted as truths and we live our life by them, but they are not necessarily conducive to our growth, you know, as human beings. And the only way, you know, for us to be able to grow and enhance and ascend as humans is if you critically think. Like you can't get it without using your mind. So, and you can't do that just in a lazy river. Like you just sitting down in a lazy river, like just floating along, like, you know, la, la, la. That's how most of us live our life, la.
Yeah,
Like, dang, like it was moving a little bit, but you know, you got to actually, if you want to go a different way, you have to make some effort. You can't
that's right.
lazily float down that river and keep going back in the circle. You got to make some effort if you want to go a different way.
That's so powerful. Like that would actually solve the world's problem if everybody, like I think they should take social studies out and make it anthropology.
Yeah, it would be great. But it's funny. Um, how do I want to say this? Many anthropologists in the actual academic world solely focus on the other. Like they
Yeah,
only look at the other.
they don't look at themselves.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Wow.
And so they're not getting the full benefit because they're just otherizing all the time, you know?
Mm,
So it's like you have to, even within anthropology, you can have all the tools and all the techniques, but if you don't still slow yourself down and critically apply them, you're just going to be pointing the finger all the time.
yeah. So, you know, we were not, I didn't want to take up like too much of your morning, but I just want to summarize like what we've covered today, which is like really a whole lot because you're such a powerful and intelligent woman. I love talking to you so much.
Thank you.
And like, so I really feel like how we were just talking about anthropology and understanding ourselves, that self-knowledge is completely related to the way you can launch your book. But you tell me, what is the golden takeaway from our conversation today?
I guess the biggest takeaway right now is to know yourself and also know your goals, know what you want to achieve. And a part of knowing yourself is getting outside of yourself, at times. And so if I know that for Zarinah, like I have certain hangups around reaching out to people that I feel have huge platforms, and why would they want to talk to little old me with my little few thousand list when they have millions of people on their list? If I know that about myself, then I can then apply some different techniques, or I can get outside of my head to then make myself work for the way I live, the way I think. But if I don't even know that about myself, I'll just keep banging my head like, dang. You gotta slow down, analyze yourself, do the work that you have your clients do, like pull back, think about what's going on, and then make some different changes and go forward. So everything is all connected to self and our vision for where we're looking to go.
Yeah. And we talk so much more about this and on such a much deeper level in our actual full podcast. So join us on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for the full Free to Be show. It's on YouTube and on Blog Talk Radio, and I will put those links below. And check out Zarinah El-Amin here on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you're watching right now, and go to her website, bookpowerpublishing.com, and check her out and see what she's all about. Thank you so much for your time, sis, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Beginning this December, I want to offer you an opportunity to be part of something bigger and to celebrate love again, replenish, and give back. With every copy of my book, Detached Love, I give back to a local nonprofit organization. This book it's more than just another book, it's a new approach to life. It allows you to replenish and love and detachment. Get your copy today at bit.ly/detached love.